Harry's Wife, Part 101.23. Princess of Wales slays Harry's wife. There once was a middle-class lady. She met the heir to the throne. They got it on. They got married. She became the Duchess of Cambridge. She produced more heirs. She fitted into the royal family and undertook her service. She's admired by many, but reviled by a few idiot sugar lumps. She stunned in a gold dress. Along came a spider. At first, the spider upset the radiant former Duchess of Cambridge, now Princess of Wales. The nasty ways of Harry's wife, the spider, caused there to be tears, anguish. Attempts were made from the good-natured Princess of Wales to reconcile matters. Yet hatefully, as Tom Bower revealed, these were rebuffed with a slammed door and flowers thrown in the bin. But there comes a time to fight back. And now, expertly advised, the Princess of Wales has done just that.
Hello, I'm H.G. Tudor. Yes, it's time for the Princess of Wales to slay Harry's wife. And boy, does she. To help you understand how she does this, and the reaction of Harry's wife, which is most interesting, I'm going to play, shortly, the relevant excerpt from the Windsor Walkabout, and it occurs right at the end when the couples are waving goodbye to the crowds and about to get back into their car and drive off, popping into the Audi Q7 and heading off into the distance. This provides you with an opportunity to understand what the Princess of Wales has been learning, and also the impact that it has upon Harry's wife, and also to enable you to understand more about what you might do should you find yourself in a similar situation. Not necessarily with Harry's wife, but with a narcissist, of course. First of all, let's play the excerpt, and then I'll take you through it. Here it comes.
Prince of Wales, the new Prince of Wales, we see there, almost getting into that car. For him, he made that decision that he was going to ask the Duke and Duchess of Sussex to join him today on this walkabout and in essence show that they are united, try to put to bed the questions that were going to remain this week about would the Sussexes be involved. And with this one move, with this remarkable walkabout, we can see them now.
Bye, everyone. Thank you so much.
I'll just pause.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much.
You've seen the footage. Let's see if you've picked up on the relevant indicators and dynamic between an empath, the Princess of Wales, a normal, the Prince of Wales, and, of course, Harry's wife, the narcissist. The footage, of course, starts with the Prince and Princess of Wales shaking a few hands. Hello, hello, thank you so much, thank you for coming, appreciate your sentiments, etc. And then overcome the Sussexes, Ginger Bollocks and the Spider. Notice a bit of hair touching, a bit of Harry touching, a bit of Harry hand-holding, and some more movement of the hair. As I explained in part 101.22, you'll understand why she keeps touching her hair. Prince of Wales is talking to an aide, and he then brings in the Princess of Wales. Notice that the Sussexes are looking on, awaiting instructions. They are very much relegated in this scenario to the second row royals. Prince William walks over. Notice at this point the Princess of Wales doesn't. She purposefully, pursuant to instruction, looks away to the crowd. She neither looks at Harry nor the spider. The Prince of Wales actually has to physically maneuver her into the group, such is her studied reticence to be anywhere near Harry's wife. The fact that she stands back wounds Harry's wife. It creates a sense of vulnerability. She's not being given any fuel by the non-intimate secondary source that is the Princess of Wales. She, of course, is receiving fuel from the reactions of the crowd. She's receiving fuel from her intimate partner primary source, Harry. So there isn't a fuel crisis, but she is being wounded by the failure of the Princess of Wales to engage with her. The Prince of Wales has to bring Catherine in. Notice that the Princess of Wales looks at Prince Harry briefly and then looks straight through Harry's wife. And you'll see here a screenshot showing that's what's precisely happening, and the response of Harry's wife also. This icy looking straight through her wounds her. Because in that instant, the Princess of Wales isn't saying anything to her. She's stock still. Her eyes aren't giving her anything. Her body language isn't giving her anything. So in that precise moment, it wounds. The point is, Catherine wouldn't be able to keep that up forever. She would eventually look in a particular way, would say something, and therefore would start to give fuel, and it would probably be challenge fuel at that point. But in that micro instant, there's wounding caused by the fact that she just looks straight through her as if she's not there. But it's not something that she could keep up. And that's why I explain to people that you're much better off removing yourself from the narcissist, walking away, not picking up the phone, not responding to a message. Indeed, the messages shouldn't be coming through, but that's a point for another day. And in those circumstances, you shouldn't try and engage in the way that Catherine has done, because you'll end up giving fuel, and that's what the narcissist wants. Here, she doesn't have a choice because she has to be in and around Harry's wife, so her response is exactly the right one. But if she had a choice, it would have been, don't attend and have nothing to do with her. That would be the better outcome. Since she has to be there, her response is perfect for the circumstances as they are. Stay away from her, hang back, don't engage, and then when you're brought in to do so by your husband, just look straight through her. Indeed, the slight acknowledgement that she gives to Ginger Bollocks and the failure of giving any acknowledgement at all to Harry's wife creates a contrast, so the wounding is exacerbated. Notice Harry's wife physically shrinks back, and there's a little glance to the Prince of Wales for some kind of assurance, almost make her talk to me, make her acknowledge me, or you acknowledge me. But she gets none. The Prince of Wales doesn't give her anything either. The Princess of Wales remains like a statue, freezing her out. And she's challenged. At this juncture, Harry's wife retreats, and she turns to the crowd and starts waving. Look at her facial expression. Obviously not happy, but it's more than that. She's rattled. She's anxious. Both hands come up to the hair. That instinctive reaction as a consequence of the situation that she finds herself in. There's a glimpse towards Prince William again. Nothing doing there. The Princess of Wales is looking around and waving to the crowd, and she's smiling. When she turns back in, she immediately stops, as instructed, with regard to Harry's wife. She gives no fuel to her, and then turns on her heel and walks away, moving to her side of the vehicle. She doesn't say anything, she doesn't look at her, she doesn't indicate with her body language any warmth towards her. She simply walks away, wounding her again. And in this short spell of time, Harry's wife is wounded several times by the Princess of Wales, and in effect we would say this certainly stacks up to a slaying. The Princess of Wales is taking on board what she's been instructed to do. The Prince of Wales largely doing so, but not as much. although he is keeping his distance. In a sense, of course, he feels that he has to be the organizer here, which means that there's a degree of interaction, but he's keeping it pretty minimal, even with his brother also. Waleses are effecting what they have to do with the maximum outcome, given that they have to spend some time with these two individuals. The fact is, Harry's wife is repeatedly wounded. It makes her feel vulnerable. It makes her feel weak. It makes her feel a sense of impending doom. And it's written large all over her face and in her responses and reactions. And is an excellent example of how one can deal with a narcissist if you're forced to in such circumstances. Of course, the better outcome is to completely stay away. And, of course, showing the outcome on the narcissist. I'm H.G. Tudor. Thank you for watching.